Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have with me Rachel Spekman, and let me tell you a little bit about Rachel. Rachel helps high-performing women trade high-paid, soul-sucking careers for soul-aligned work that still makes them a great income. She believes that you can work a job for high pay and be miserable, unhealthy, and sick, or you can apply your gifts and talents in a way that makes you great money and love what you do by aligning your career with your values and purpose. We're going to talk about the career that looks good, but feels wrong. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Rachel Spekman. Rachel, I am so excited to talk about this because you know what? It's a very true statement that so often we suffer because we are, handcuffed to those salaries, and we hate our boss, we hate our job, we don't feel fulfilled, but we stay for not days, not weeks, but years. So I'm so excited for you to share your insights and how we can make a change.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited to get into it with you.
We always ask two easy questions first. The first question is just a simple one to tell everybody, where do you live? Where do you call home right now?
I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and it's a gorgeous day here.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day in Atlanta too. So share a bit of your journey that really informed what you do, and really, why do you do this? You know, what was that moment, that pivotal moment that said, you know what, I have to help these people get out of this rat race that they're in?
So, as you said, my name is Rachel Spekman, and my company is Made for More Coaching. And it really is rooted in each person who feels connected to what we're talking about is made for more. And I help people figure out, how do you actually conceptualize that? What do you do with it? What are your constraints? What are the ways that you can figure out what is even just a little bit more of what you're made for look like? Mm-hmm. My journey began really in earnest when I was flying high in the corporate world. And I was asked to give a presentation in Stockholm, Sweden. And it was a dream professional opportunity for me. And when I got there, after presenting, I went to the bathroom and I essentially was crying in the bathroom. And I realized there is something going on here. If I can be on stage pretending flawlessly that I'm loving what I do, but internally feeling completely misaligned, I need to do something about this. This is really no way to live. And that sort of began really what is now Made for More Coaching. There were a million steps along the way, and there still are. I ended up transitioning and becoming a full-time therapist, and I am now a full-time therapist and a coach that helps other people figure out what it is that they are made for more of and what to do with that energy. And I think about it as an uneven seesaw, or something feels completely out of alignment. and it's impacting your health, it's impacting your family, your well-being. You might have the Sunday scaries every day of the week, and
Mhm.
yet you're so locked in to your mortgage, to your commitments. And that's I really believe that's not why we're born to have this life. We're not born to be locked into the things. Everything is a choice, and everything has its pros, cons, risks, benefits. And so I love helping people think through, conceptualize, what does being unstuck look like? And that's different for every single person.
Absolutely. So, what are the mental, you talked about being a therapist, and I have a lot of people I bring on about mindset and the brain and how it controls so much of our lives. What can you tell us about the mental and physical health impacts of us staying in a career where you are miserable every day?
I did my first year fellowship after social work school at a healthcare setting, and about 95% of the referrals came from the PCP, and it was stress management that had gone awry. The physical toll of stress, just the physical toll of stress, is heart issues, excessive sweating, um, IBS, all kinds of major health issues that if you do not get that on lockdown, it will really start to exacerbate. The number of people who came in and thought they were having a heart attack, and the doctor said, no, you're just stressed,
Panic attack.
a panic attack.
Yeah.
So
So
that,
true. So true.
you
And it's
know,
not age, it's not just those of us that are 50s, 60s, 70s. It's really young people too. You see this in their 20s and 30s, just starting out in their career, having an image, I think, of what that should look like and realizing they're just so lost.
that's a lot of the work I do, unpacking what we were told about work, what it is, what it's supposed to
Yeah.
be, what titles are. Of course, prestige, these things matter. Our reputation matters, our relationships. That's a given. It's when I work with people in that setting, I said, this is data. Your body is giving you data. And and very often I work with a lot of parents because that was sort of the role. I said, if your kid came home having a panic attack, what kind of data would that be giving you? Something's
Mhm.
awry. And yet we often withstand it for ourselves because we think, I have to make this happen. And you might have to for a short burst, but is that really sustainable? Um, from a mental health perspective, most therapists focus on depression and anxiety. I focus on identity transformation work. And really, at the root of all three of those diagnoses, if you will, is there's a value misalignment.
Mhm.
So I'm in a relationship that doesn't honor me. I'm depressed from it. Or I'm feeling very anxious because the environment that I'm in doesn't support my sensitivity. Right. And so there's something misaligned. And there's always going to be something misaligned. This is life. I'm not here to make
Yeah,
anything perfect.
absolutely.
I joke with I try to have a sense of humor. I say, I left my magic wand at home today. I'm so sorry, but we can try to make it better collectively.
Yeah.
I, I can help bring you on that journey and really be a guide for you to see yourself and then all the practical tools that come with it.
For
So
sure.
thinking through how do you figure out how to get unstuck and how do you start talking about yourself and making brave decisions. And I left a very lucrative, well established career path. I was a senior director to become an intern. And I tell everybody the ego goes on a journey. And there's a lot of trusting the process.
Mhm.
We call it a trust fall together because you know what your personal mission statement is. And you align yourself with the right people around you, the right resources, the right financial plan, so that nobody's making an impulsive decision. It's a very
Mhm.
calculated, thought out plan that we designed together for you to get unstuck one step at a time.
When I was a younger supervisor, I mean, I was 40, but I was young, and I had a young lady who was really intelligent. She was well-rounded because she spent time in Europe, and her parents had a business, and she was exposed to management at that point, but never, she just came from college, got her master's. And so she wanted, in her mind, she was ready to be a senior manager. And it was the hardest discussion to have with her, to say, I really recommend that we, take some steps for you to be exposed to this work environment, to be, observing how leadership is before you actually take it on. Because I saw so many people promoted early, and then they were not able to handle all the things that they didn't learn in school about being a leader. And so then that person, I just didn't want her to have the stress and anxiety that we just talked about, when it wasn't necessary. If she just took the time to do the steps necessary to really enlighten her as to how she wanted to lead.
Thank you for sharing that. It reminds me of two things I work with clients. The first is, you used the word rat race earlier. And I will ask people, what are you racing towards? What's the finish line? Is it retirement? Is it to enjoy your day then? Is it to get home only to come back to something you don't like the next day?
Yeah.
So really, what is this race that we've put ourselves on?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying jump off of it, make an impulsive decision. Absolutely not. But really start asking, what am I racing for? This is my, like as many authors say, this is my one wild and precious life. So what do I want to do with it? And
Yeah.
that's where we really get into our skills audit, our values audit, our curiosities, and we start melding those together thoughtfully to create a plan that's designed around you. So that's the first piece I wanted to say about your colleague. What was she racing towards?
Mhm.
And really, understanding that is so individualistic. And the second piece is, I say this all of the time. I've managed so many people in my career, and I say, your intern could be your boss, and your boss could be your intern. So little is unpredictable. I have to tell you, since I've started doing this coaching work in earnest, I have literally had previous bosses come to me and say, I've been miserable in this job that I was managing you in. Or I have former interns. I started this with a former intern of mine who was in the wrong field. She was in IT and she loves venture capital. And so all of a sudden we got her way more connected in a different space that just lights her up. And it all came from her realizing that she loved managing her family's finances when she was a kid. And she had just chosen the wrong major and just got recruited by the wrong agency. And all of a sudden it was a whole realignment. And then we do a skills gap and a network gap. So there are so many steps we can do and really break it down so it's not scary, and so
Yeah.
that it feels just one brick by brick. I sometimes say, often brick by brick. So
That's really so important. Time is flying by. You say careers are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So share a little bit more about that.
Mhm. So it actually stems, I do a lot of relationship management work in therapy because I think it's Brene Brown or someone or Oprah maybe who says that the quality of our life is the quality of the relationships that are dearest to us. And so relationships come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And what I mean by careers come in is that, let's use that student that I just talked about. She was a student, she was an intern of mine. Um, her IT job came into her life for a reason. It was a reason and a season. She was post grad. The offer fell on the table. Her family said, of course you got to take this. And so, but that wasn't her lifetime job. And so she had to give away this idea or give up or move through. This is a job for a reason. And it's helping me to pay my bills and stay off my student loans, pay off my student loans and get started as a young adult. okay, now I'm going to keep this job for this season because it's still doing those things, but I'm building a bridge. I talk all the time about building a bridge out.
Mhm.
We have to build a bridge out. And some I try to be very funny. Sometimes I'll show the scene in Shrek about the, if you know it, the bridge is burning
Yes.
down when the donkey is
Yes.
running across it. And I will have people actually build their own bridge, talk about what's burning underneath them. I really try to use visuals. I come from an education background as well. And so, that was her job for that season as she built her bridge. Now she's found, this might be her lifetime job, but it might be her lifetime interest because she's really interested in how money moves through organizations and families and wealth. And so that's really following that curiosity can lead us to our lifetime opportunity, not just the reason or the season.
Sure. So you talked about that you have for the reason, and I just really think that the bridge is a great analogy because everything that I have done in my life was set up by things I did in my past, right? So every job I had seemed to give and build skill sets that I would need in the jobs that I got in the future. And what I do now came from things that I did as a Toastmaster for all these years. And so, I really think it's important that we do, and maybe that helps us through the stress and the strain of getting through the jobs that we are not supposed to be in for long, to be able to make that move, whether you're a senior person or a young person, um, that they took that job because they paid well, or it was a doctor, lawyer, whatever, that their parents wanted them to become to be secure, forgetting about being happy.
Okay. I had to say, the former boss who came to me and said I hated my job, he introduced me to Toastmasters, and I have everybody I work with do anecdotes, and I call it their internal resume. What are the things they're most proud of in their career? Maybe nobody saw it, but
Mhm.
mine comes from Toastmasters.
Yeah.
I was giving a large presentation at a large corporate company we all know, and I froze up, and my colleague had to take over. And I knew this marketing strategy it was my livelihood. And we left the meeting and I said, "Are you going to fire me?" And he said, "No, I'm going to send you to Toastmasters."
That's right. And it will
And
make the
you know what?
difference.
That's one of my internal resume wins. I had a boss who believed in me. He
Mhm.
could have said, "You messed up the entire thing and you bombed it." And no, he turned to me and said, "I believe in you and we're going to pay for you to do it. And you're going to get the time off." And I did that for 2 years. And so, really, that's a big part of it of thinking, what kind of spaces do we want to be in and who do we want to be around that's going to
Yeah.
keep us energized? Most people come to me from a very toxic environment or they've been beat down for some time. So we have to start really re-engaging with those past moments or I call them like moments of light or glimmering or really reclaiming that and re-narrating our story.
Yeah, and you're really in that, you're rebuilding their confidence because all of those people were crushing it and making them have self-doubt and imposter syndrome and all those things. And so you do have to take the time. And that's why I love that you talk about mental, because it is a lot about your mindset. Do you have your patients or your clients do journaling at all?
I do. So I have a whole course, and everything has a workbook attached to it, and it's all very reflective, very actionable. Every lesson comes with an action item to it, in addition to a reflection, and then a challenge assignment, which is generally going out and pitching yourself. And pitching can be scary, but trying it on for
Mm-hmm.
size with a safe space. Some people have to do a post. I just had a client do a post. He'd never done a post before, and he said it was incredible. Just that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I put something out there and it has my name on it, and it was beautiful, and it's being so well received, and it's lighting other people up. So yes, I definitely have the journaling piece of it. There's something that's very universal about this problem, unfortunately, that I'm trying to work on with people. And there's also something that's so individualized.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I'm sure that people are intrigued and would love to chat some more. I know you and I will have to have another session so we can continue this conversation.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, I, as always, will share my screen with your contact information for the audience. So if you're watching, get ready to get a screenshot. If you're listening and you're able to, you can get all the information. I will read it. But if you don't get it now, you can go to my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling. Just go there and subscribe, as well as go to my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. You can subscribe to that and get all of these things. So the website is her name. You can thank her later. It's Rachel Spekman. That's RachelSpekman.com, RachelSpekman.com. LinkedIn is her name as well. I told you should thank her. Very easy to remember, Rachel Spekman. I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. She has
My last name, no C in my last name. That's the biggest.
no C in the last name. I know, because they're going to want to put it in there, but no C. All right, her call to action. I'm going to turn it over to her to chat with you a little bit about what she has for you.
Yeah, so you do deserve, of course, to love what you do. And so I invite you to book a 15-minute consult call with me. Tell me a little bit about what's going on, where you're feeling stuck, uninspired, unhealthy, sick by what you're doing, and let's make a plan together to get you out of the situation that you're in as quickly as possible.
Fantastic. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.